Hey boys and girls, welcome to Friday Night Blast. Glad you're here joining us tonight. We're going to have a wonderful experiment that has to do with our Sunday morning message, this coming Sunday morning's message. This Sunday morning we'll be talking about Jonah and the great fish, and the great big fish, and what Jonah did and what he didn't do that God told him to do. So we'll be talking about this weekend. But what we're going to do with our science experiment today kind of is about that. We're going to make a little game out of our science experiment that has a little bit of magic wrapped around it. You're going to have a blast doing this one, okay? But make sure you ask your parents' permission first before you do this. What you need to have is a plate. I got a ginormous one. You need a dry erase marker. You need a permanent marker. And you need some agua, some water. You need some water, okay? So what you want to do is, what we're going to do is I'm going to take the camera and we're going to turn it to the plate and we're going to kind of tell the story of Jonah and the whale, and then we're going to kind of make a game with this and kind of do a little bit of a science experiment with this as well. So stay tuned, hang on, we'll be right back. Okay, so now we have our plate in place and now we can tell the story, and this is what you need. Again, you need to have your dry erase marker. Now our dry erase marker, what we're going to do is, one, when the story is about Jonah. So we're going to draw a little Jonah right here. And we're going to put him on the plate. You want to make sure that everything's connecting, okay? So we have this dude. Now this might kind of be weird. Okay, now we have Jonah. Jonah was told by God to go to Nineveh and preach the word of God. Now, for some reason, Jonah didn't like the people of Nineveh, so he decided to go to Tarsus instead. And while he was on the boat to Tarsus, a great storm came upon, where the boat was about to sink. And everybody was freaking out on the boat. But Jonah knew why that was happening, because he knew he was disobeying God. So he said, "Throw me overboard and you'll be saved." They didn't like it, but they eventually did. They threw Jonah overboard, and then a great fish swallowed Jonah. Now, we talk about the great fish. It can be, a lot of people feel, what we've said is a whale, but I think a lot of people think they might be even a shark. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make a big fish, okay? So now we're taking our permanent marker on the plate, and we are going to make a big fish, okay? So I'm going to make a big fish with a big mouth. There we go, okay? And then we'll make an eye. And then we're gonna, and there's his fins. And we'll make a fin there. Hey, we'll just do some teeth just to make him menacing, okay? And then we'll give him a frowny face because he's not happy because he didn't obey God. There we go. So now we have that fish on there. Now, this is where we're gonna have the fun part of the game. Now, we've done Jonah in the dry erase marker. We've done the fish in the permanent marker. Now what we're going to do is, now this is where we take our water. Now slowly, you need to do this very slowly. Pour your water onto the plate. And what you need to do is get as close and around Jonah as you can. And as Jonah is surrounded by the water, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but he's starting to move a little bit. And what's happening is the dry erase marker ink is starting to float into the water. Okay? So now what our game is we're going to try to get Jonah into the fish's mouth. Okay? Let's see, he's not quite separated yet. We're going to try to move around a little bit. Let's see if we can get him. I think I put too much ink on it. He's about half separated right now. I don't want to tear off his leg. Ooh, he's getting moved around. Let's see what we can do to see if I can touch him a little bit and get him. And get him to float. There we go. Oh, just about there. I know he's a little messed up. Okay, there we go. Now what we want to try to do, now we make the game, and we're going to try to move the plate and see about getting him inside the fish's mouth. And boom shakalaka. Whoop. There we go. And there he is. He's inside the fish's mouth. There we go. Now, if you see, I'm trying to see if I can get him picked up a little bit. And we'll talk about the science behind this. And here, let me take another thing here. Can't really pick him up with that. See if I can get him right here. There we go. And if you see that, now he's just kind of like a ball of purple snot. Now, the science behind that is simply as this. When they make dry erase markers, they make it with a chemical compound that will not adhere to most surfaces. Now, sometimes you mark them with these and they stay. But for most slick surfaces, this comes on and it'll erase off. But it's not water soluble. In other words, when water touches it, it doesn't disperse. It keeps to itself. It still has the molecules that will keep it together. But when the water hits the plate and the ink, it separates it. The ink won't disperse, but also the ink isn't strong enough to stay to the plate. Now, when we had the permanent marker, for the most part, the permanent marker, as we write it on there, or as we draw on the surface, permanent marker is made with a chemical compound to stay on all surfaces. And so when we poured the water on there, it didn't really come up. It came up in a couple places because the ink was still wet. I forgot to dry off the ink before we poured the water on there. But for the most part, this will stay on the slick surface. So between the two, they're both markers, but they're made with a different chemical compound to do different things. One is so it can be erased, and the other one is so it doesn't get erased. And so what we have is when we pour that water on there, it separates on the dry erase marker, it separates from the plate, and then so it can move around and dance around. And then so we can play the game, Jonah and the Great Fish. So that's something maybe you can try Sunday after hearing the sermon on Sunday. You might come home and you might want to try that experiment at home with your family. Be a fun thing to do. See how many people, or you can try different plates and see who can do it quickest and time it and have some good time with that. Guys, I hope you're having a great time. Tomorrow morning is our Easter egg hunt for the little guys. So big brother and sisters, if you're watching this, parents, if you're watching this, remember that tomorrow at the church at 2 o'clock, we have our extraordinary egg extravaganza here at the church. We didn't have Easter, so we're going to do it this Saturday. So tomorrow at the church, we're going to have our Easter egg hunt for the preschool kids and the young grade school kids. You come on out, have a great time, and we'll have that tomorrow. There might be even a surprise guest. Who knows? Okay, and then next week, next Saturday, we'll have backyard games over at my house. We'll be doing a lot of fun games and having a good time with that. So I hope to see you guys then. All right, hope you guys are doing well. Can't wait to see you Sunday morning. Be good, stay safe, wash your hands. Catch you later. See ya. Bye.